Welcome to Melanated Moments with Erica, a sacred space curated with guided meditation and impartations for your journey as a melanated woman pursuing wellness in the present moment and beyond. Join Erica St. Bernard, a licensed marriage and family therapist, as together you build capacity for curious exploration that inspires wellness in ways that amplify authentic living. Allow melanated moments to be a part of your holistic journey to be well, live well, and love well.
Greetings, melanated woman. I am Erica St. Bernard, and I'm so glad you are here. I invite you to join me for a moment of sacred pause and breath. Before we get started, grab your journaling tools of preference so you can note your experience. I'll be here when you return if you need to pause the audio. Welcome back. I'd like to invite you to settle into your space and allow your body to soften as you feel the chair supporting you. You might press the soles of your feet onto the floor or wiggle your toes as you choose to rest one hand on your chest and the other on your belly, or rest both hands on your lap, or allow them to fall by your sides. I invite you to make yourself comfortable wherever you are as you choose to close your eyes or soften your gaze as you lower your eyes to the floor. I invite you to notice your breath. Bring your attention to your inhale and exhale. Simply notice what happens when you turn your attention to your breath. Take a few more natural breaths. Now, I invite you to join me in a series of deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose and hold for a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Inhale deeply through your nose, holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale. Once more. Inhale deeply through your nose what you'd like to receive. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale longer than your inhale what you'd like to release. I want to start our time today with a question, and I invite you to sit with it for a bit before you answer. Who are you outside of being a wife? Not what do you do, what roles do you carry, not how you serve your family, your community, or even your church. Who are you? What do you want? What do you dream about? What makes you light up or come alive? What do you believe to be true about yourself, separate from your marriage, your family, or your faith community, and what they've told you to believe? For many of the women I work with, that question produces a long silence. Not because they don't have answers, but because it has been so long since anyone asked them. And for many, it's been even longer since they asked themselves. Today, we're talking about rediscovering who you are in marriage and why that rediscovery is not a threat to your marriage, but one of the most meaningful gifts you can give it. Let me start with what God says about identity from the sacred text that's found in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It reads, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You are God's workmanship, God's poem, God's intentional creation. That identity existed well before your marriage did. And guess what? It also exists within your marriage, and it will continue to beyond any and every season of your life. Your personhood is not defined by your marital status or role. The sacred text found in Psalm 139, verse 14 reads, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." You and I were fearfully and wonderfully made as individuals with specific gifts, desires, callings, and a personality that God crafted with precision. Marriage is meant to be a context in which both individuals flourish, not disappear. Proverbs 31, verse 16 tells us, "She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard." The Proverbs 31 woman has her own thoughts, her own initiatives, her own economic activity. She is not a woman who has dissolved into her role. She is fully herself, and that fullness empowers her for partnership. A woman who knows who she is offers even more to her marriage than a wife who has forgotten along the way. The losing of self in marriage rarely happens dramatically. It often happens quietly, gradually, through a series of small accommodations that seemed reasonable at the time. Maybe you stopped pursuing interests that didn't fit the family schedule. That thing you loved before marriage, the creative work, the friendships, the activity or the hobby, the dream or the passion project, it simply got deprioritized until it disappeared entirely. You started defining your needs through his preferences. What do we want for dinner? Where do we want to vacation? What kind of home do we want to live in? Over time, we began to center his preferences, and your needs became secondary, or worse, they went unspoken. You began measuring your worth through his responses. If it pleased him, you felt good. If he was disappointed or became distant, maybe you felt like a failure. Your sense of self became regulated by his reactions rather than anchored in your own identity. You took on more than your share of the invisible labor, managing the household, the children, the emotional climate of the family. And in the midst of managing everything and everyone else, you stopped managing your own interior life. You received messages, as we all have, from culture, from family, maybe even from church, that a good wife disappears or absorbs into her marriage, that your desires, dreams, and needs matter less than the appearance of a smoothly functioning, well-polished family. None of these things happened because you failed. They happen because you were navigating a marriage in a culture that has not honored the full humanity of women who are also wives and mothers. Guess what? Recognizing these patterns is the beginning of reclaiming what was lost. Here's what I've observed in my work with couples. The wives who have the strongest, most connected marriages are often the ones who know who they are and lovingly speak up for herself as often as she needs to. When you know what you want, you can communicate it clearly. When you have your own interior life, you bring fullness to the relationship rather than expecting the relationship to fill you. When you have your own sense of identity and worth, you are not dependent on your husband's or your children's validations to feel okay about yourself. And paradoxically, a wife who is fully herself is far more interesting, far more engaged, and far more present in her marriage than a wife who has disappeared into it. Your husband may not be able to fully articulate it, but he likely senses when you're living from a depleted place. And he senses or will sense the difference when you're living from a full, grounded, and self aware one. Rediscovering yourself is not selfish. It is one of the most generous gifts you can give yourself, and it certainly benefits your marriage too. So, how do we begin rediscovering who we are inside a marriage we still believe in? First, start with honest curiosity about yourself. Not judgment, not fixing, just curiosity. What do I actually enjoy? What have I given up that I miss? What do I believe about myself that might not even be true? What do I want that I've never said out loud? Second, reconnect with what existed before. Who were you before you became a wife? What did you love? What were you good at? What did you used to dream about? Some of those things still belong to you. Some may have evolved, but they're worth revisiting. Third, identify what you want, not what you think you should want. This can be surprisingly hard. We are so conditioned to want what is approved, expected, or deemed appropriate that what we really want for our lives, for our bodies, for our time, for our relationships, and for our future sometimes gets lost. What do you actually want for your life, for your body, for your time, for your relationships, for your future? Fourth, create space for your own inner life. Time in prayer and reflection that isn't about interceding for anybody else. Quiet, reflective time alone. Journaling, engaging a therapist, having honest conversations with a trusted friend. We all need space and time to encounter ourselves regularly and consistently. Fifth, share what you're discovering with your husband. This is where rediscovery becomes a relational gift. As you learn more about who you are and what you want, invite him into that discovery. You might say something like, I've been thinking about something I've wanted for a long time. Can I share it with you? This creates a new touch point for connection building. Sixth, allow yourself to want things that are just for you. Not everything has to serve the family. Not every interest has to be productive or profitable. You are allowed to pursue things simply because they bring you joy, because they make you smile, because they make you feel more like yourself. This process takes time. And for some of us, it may surface grief for the years of self-abandonment. It may feel uncomfortable before it feels freeing, yet this is sacred work. The work of coming home to yourself so that you can be more fully present for your marriage and for the fullness of your life. If you're single and listening, this episode is an invitation to know yourself deeply before and during marriage so that you bring your full self into partnership and you continue to build the capacity for ongoing exploration as you evolve in life and in love. I invite you to consider these self-discovery questions. What do you actually want in a partner and in life together? What are your non-negotiables? What are your dreams that need to be honored, not buried or pushed aside? What do you believe about yourself that you are grounded in? What do you believe about yourself that may need to be challenged or examined? Beloved, the best gift you can bring to a future marriage is a woman who knows who she is while making and holding space for who she will become. This week, I invite you to sit with these questions slowly, honestly, without rushing to answers. 1, who are you outside of your role as a wife? What have you stopped wanting because it felt too big, too selfish, or too complicated? What does your husband not know about you? The specific dreams, desires, longings that you haven't shared yet. What one small step toward rediscovering yourself could you take this week? When it comes to mind, plan it and do it. Beloved, you did not lose yourself permanently. You set yourself aside gradually, quietly, and for reasons that made sense at the time. And you can find your way back. Not back to who you were before, forward to who you are becoming. A woman who knows herself, honors herself, and brings that knowing into her most sacred relationships and interactions. If this conversation is speaking to you, I invite you to go deeper with me this month. Every weekday in July, I'm going live at 10 a.m. on Instagram, praying out loud over the things we quietly carry in our marriages and at the intersection of our faith. Come and join me. Find me at Your Life's Well. That's YOURLIFESWELL. And I'll see you in the room. For my Maryland residents seeking therapeutic support in identity work within your marriage, check out the link in the show notes to schedule a therapy consultation. For Black Christian wives ready to rediscover who they are and what they truly want inside their marriage, visit the link in show notes to schedule your Sacred Clarity call. Don't forget to join our Melanated Moments community for our Sacred Sunday messages that arrive in your inbox each week with encouragement for your journey. And if you prefer to watch rather than just listen, Melanated Moments is now available on YouTube. You can find us at youtube.com/@ Erica St. Bernard YLW. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you never miss a visual melanated moment. All the links mentioned are in the show notes. Beloved, you are worth knowing. Start there, right where you are. Be well, live well, love well.
Thank you for listening to Melanated Moments with Erica. This podcast is brought to you by Your Life's Well, leaders in individual, marriage, and family therapy since 2017. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our show on Apple or Spotify. To stay up to date with Melanated Moments, follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Your Life's Well, or visit us at yourlifeswell.com. Stay tuned for our next episode of Melanated Moments with Erica. Until then, we invite you to stay well, live well, and be well.